So we are okay, so we are live now. My name is Keto Magradze. I'm representing Georgian Institute for Debate and Education. We are today very thrilled and honored to have a guest like Ghassan Khalil, who is a current UNICEF representative to Georgia. And we have two hosts today, Tika Nazrishvili and Mariam Khadouri, who will be actively involved in our live session now.
So hello at first. I'm going to add some specific detail about Dr. Khalil's biography. So as Kat already mentioned, he is currently the UNICEF representative to Georgia, and he also serves as a MBA thesis supervisor with the UN Staff College and the University of Stellenbosch in South Africa, focusing on value-based leadership and results-based management in managing international organizations. His work has been focused on promoting human rights, including women and children's rights, social policy, legal reforms, cultural diversity, and intercultural dialogue, with extensive experience in strategic management and right-based approach to programming in both development and emergency settings. He acted as a senior advisor to many governments, independent evaluator of US government-supported projects, and senior consultant for projects supported by international organizations such as UN and also many others. And he is an expert in competency-based education, in curriculum design, and in training methodologies to which he applies a result-based planning approach. And he develops numerous syllabuses for many academic institutions in several countries.
So first of all, thank you for being here on this very special day for us, because today, as we know, is an International Children's Day. And we're very happy to see you here with us in the group called the Debates for the Education. And that's why you are here for us to speak about the children's rights to education and COVID-19 regarding the last developments of COVID-19. So please.
Thank you very much. This is a great pleasure for us in UNICEF. And I heard a lot of good things about your activities, your enthusiasm, and that's why I'm really looking forward today. More than my speech, my intervention, I'm looking forward to the questions and answers that we will have. So let me share with you a few ideas first about education in general in a within a rights-based approach. So you know very well that every child has the right to education. That's global, universal, everywhere. But the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which was adopted in 1989 by the United Nations General Assembly, and which is considered the mission statement for UNICEF. So the Convention on the Rights of the Child, we call it the CRC, considers that education should aim at the development of the personality of the child, which is in Article 29 of the Convention. And this is extremely important because sometimes some educational systems forget that the main purpose should be the development of the personality of the child. And when we say that the main aim is development of the personality, it means respect for the child is of utmost importance. And knowledge, information, all these skills, competences, all these are extremely important, but not more important than the development of the personality of the child. So that's why every educator, teacher has to fully respect the dignity of the child, fully respect the rights of the child, and At the same time, all educational measures should aim at making sure that the child is developing to the fullest capacity and to be able to live harmoniously in the society. So this is where the school, and we will come now to school versus online education, etc., where the school becomes a societal institution, an educational institution, which should prepare children for a better social life in the society. And that's why the involvement of the parents in the school life is extremely important. So the teachers should act as not only as source of information and knowledge, but also as societal agents to help every child having the best harmonious life in her or in his society. And of course, Article 28 also of the Convention on the Rights of the Child stipulates that education should be compulsory and free of charge, at least in basic education. So up to from grade 1 to 9 at least. This is the least. It should be free of charge and compulsory. Now coming a little bit to the COVID-19 pandemic and what happened recently globally, we have seen that the online learning and the distance learning has become not only a reality, has become a necessity at a time where we are not able to go physically to schools. But also at the same time, we are now discovering, and UNICEF is paying a lot of attention to this societal process, that many things can be done from home, including offices. Like even us in UNICEF, because of the coronavirus, we have been for some time operating from homes. Now we have started coming to the office, but we were mainly working from home. And we discovered that there are many things that we can do from home. But at the same time, we should recognize the positive role of technology. Because without technology, homeschooling would have been very difficult. So with technology, there should be no excuse of doing everything physically at school and at the office. That's why now globally there is a serious thinking of what are the things, the courses, the time that the student can spend at home with the family, right? Why to wake up very early and leave and be stuck in the traffic jam and waste 1 hour or 2 hours to reach school and then not being able to have an appropriate breakfast because the child has to leave early. Then it could be a nice breakfast at home, right? Family breakfast, and then studies would start, and this would contribute more to the personality of the child. So all these, I want to tell you that this coronavirus pandemic has created many hardships, but at the same time has created opportunities. I'm sure recently you have spent more time with your parents, right? Staying at home, no? Yeah, very good. I mean, this is something extremely valuable to spend time with families. But also, you may have had more time to spend with yourself, reading a book, a nice book, playing music, whatever hobby you would like to do. This is also very important. But when we spend too much time going, coming back, etc., then it becomes difficult to spend more time on arts or on reading and on exercising even. So coming back to the right to education, the right to education is consecrated by the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and it has to be a quality education. Like many years back, we used to say that, children have the right to have a school, okay? Now it's not enough anymore. Now it has to be a school that respects children's rights, a school that provides quality education, and a school where the teacher should interact with the student. And because now students sometimes may know more than the teacher. Why? Because they do their search, right? Who is now the most knowledgeable person? Google. You can find everything on Google, right? You can say Batono Google, Calbatono Google, as you like. But this is the most knowledgeable source of information. But we have to be careful, and this is what UNICEF and my colleagues also in the communication section always remind young people that rely on or have resort to reliable sources of information. For instance, COVID-19, which website would you visit?
World Health Organization's one, I think most reliable.
World Health Organization and UNICEF also. So you can also visit UNICEF, WHO, and get the right information. You can visit also NCDC, the National Center for Disease Control, right? So the National Center of Georgia for Disease Control and Public Health. So reliable information, and also the Convention on the Rights of the Child stipulates in Article 17 that children, of course, up to 18, this is the definition of the child in Article 1 of the Convention. So children have the right to information. No one can deny you, deprive you from the right to information. And at the same time, Article 17 mentions that children have the right to be protected from harmful information. So some media channels, some media companies may spread harmful information. It's very important to know that, what is the harmful information and to avoid it. And if you feel really that you cannot make a judgment about this information, you should have resorts to adults who are professionals, knowledgeable in this area. And then sometimes also some adolescents, some young people, start practicing negative habits, habits which are not in line with the healthy lifestyle. For instance, it could be online gambling and paying money for gambling. Imagine how harmful, especially, when spending money when this money is needed for education, is needed for food, is needed for, and then spending all the time on online gambling. Or, for instance, drug abuse, okay? This is also very dangerous. So young people have to, also the appropriate information is important also to encourage young people to follow a healthy lifestyle, exercising, hobbies, music, art, painting, helping others, okay, volunteering in the society, doing community work for the community where you live. All these are extremely important to grow in a healthy way. And remember all the time that when we grow in a healthy way, we become happier people. Because we feel comfortable with ourselves. We feel that we are in peace with ourselves. And then we become happier. And happiness is extremely important in life. Right? We work, we study, we work, we establish relationships with friends, we go to concerts, we go to swim, we go to, why? Because we want to be happy. And this happiness is so valuable in life. But if we start following unhealthy lifestyle, we lose a lot of our happiness. So coming back again to education, education should contribute to the happiness of children. And this happiness should be at family level, at school level, and in the society as well. And in UNICEF, we have core values. And I would like to mention the values of care and respect. Okay? So care and respect are crucial for a successful, a nice, a beautiful educational life. Because children, students have to care for each other and also should care for their teachers. Because the teachers also, they have their concerns, they are dedicating their time, their efforts. So students should support them with care, should be caring. And at the same time, teachers should care for every single student, every single child at school or with the online or distance or call, the learning and teaching by calls or whatever the format is for education. And at the same time, respect. Respect in education is extremely important. And as I said, it's not enough for children to have a school to say that they have their right to education is fulfilled. No, it has to be a school which respects children, a school which provides quality education. And of course, also the children should respect their teachers, and they should respect as well their school management, the director, the principal, supervisors. But here I would like to bring Article 12 of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which stipulates the child has the right to be heard in all matters affecting his or her in all administrative or legislative processes that affect the lives of children. Which means every time there's a law to be adopted by developed and adopted by the parliament, children should participate. Every time there's a decision, administrative decision by the city hall, by the mayor's office, etc., children should participate. Children should be asked for their opinion. What do you think? Is this something good for children in the city? Is this something good for children in the village? They have the right. And Georgia ratified the Convention on the Rights of the Child, okay? Which means the convention has become like a law in Georgia, like any law adopted by the parliament. So it's mandatory. It's mandatory, and therefore you can claim your rights, you should claim your rights every time with ministries, with the parliament, with all institutions, saying you should ask us for our opinion and we will express our opinion. And I will also say, not to stay for long, I would like to say that definitely it's always claiming the rights in non-violent way and in ways which are constructive and positive to bring good results for the society and for the individual and for the society. So in addition to the care and respect, also I would like to mention trust, because the UNICEF core values are care, respect, integrity, trust, and accountability. So today I will take also the trust from the 3 core values out of 5 of UNICEF. And for trust, I would like to share with you that trust is extremely important in education, but in life in general. But also trust has to be informed. And we have to and trust, we have to nurture trust. So we have to nurture the relationships to keep the trust alive. So these things I wanted to share with you in terms of core values in the educational life, but also in our life in general. And you know very well that nowadays, because it's difficult times because of the coronavirus, we have to be very supportive to each other, very supportive to our parents, to our teachers, to our friends. We have to stay kind to each other. And solidarity is very important. We all need each other, especially in difficult times. And these are difficult times. So with this, I would like to stop myself and looking forward to hearing from you for questions, comments, your opinions. If you have, maybe you don't agree on a few things of what I said, so go ahead.
So thank you at first for your speech. It was very interesting and it was very important because like many people do not understand the real essence of education and what education really means. And your definition was really interesting. And for me, it was like, it is true because education is the main process for the personal growth of a human. So I want to ask about informal education. So me and Mariam are involved in we are debaters and we're involved in the debate club by Georgian Institute for Debate and Education. And like often people, when they mention education, they associate this education with the formal education only. And I want to ask you, what do you think? What is the role of informal education in this personal growth of children? And can it really act as a main tool for development of teacher and educational system in general? So
thank you. A very, very important question. I think informal education is as important as formal education. Let's go back to the main purpose. What is the main purpose? The main purpose is the development of the personality of the child. So formal, informal, non-formal, any kind of education should contribute to the development of the personality of the child. I strongly encourage to follow informal education pathways to make sure that every child, every young person is able to better understand life and better understand the problem-solving processes in life. Because one of the most important things in our life is to solve the problems. You will always face problems. We all face problems all the time. But the most important thing, how you approach the solving process of the problem. And this we can learn it from formal or informal education. But also role models are very important. So make sure that as young people, you have role models in your life and you have mentors to train you, to share with you their experience. But at the same time, you have all the right to have your own experience in life. So be sure to have both. Your both experience in life, okay, and also having mentors. And don't be afraid of making mistakes. Gandhi, you know Gandhi in India, from India, he said, freedom is not worth having if it does not include the right to make mistakes. So mistakes are part of life, no problem. But learning from the mistakes is extremely important for the people who would like to develop all the time.
So I want to ask you, I will reference to your speech where you mentioned that it's like a good quality of education and it should be free of charge. But in reality, it's not that easy to say so. So what do you think? How can we encourage good education, like the good quality education, free of charge, where teachers respect children, the students, and where students respect teachers? So what can we do about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, most of the countries worldwide, they still have, let me say many, but it is in fact most, still have difficulties to apply fully the fully free of charge and compulsory education system because of mainly of financial problems. So in countries where poverty still exists, 10, 15, 20% poverty, so the countries struggle to provide the basic, which is the basic health and nutrition requirements. And education, of course, is very important, but education sometimes take a little bit more time. And that's why we see that some children may not afford going for education, and some families may send their children to work at an early age, unfortunately. But I will go back to the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which stipulated in its Article 4 that every country member, a state party every country which ratified the Convention on the Rights of the Child has become a state party, has to put efforts to the maximum available resources. So maximum of what the country can do to fulfill all the rights. So this is my answer to you. And in Georgia, we have been seeing improvements, constant improvements in education. I mean, before coming to Georgia, I read a little bit how was the situation in the 1990s. Immediately after separation from the Soviet Union and the independence from the Soviet Union, I mean, the situation was very difficult, and Georgia is improving. And this is what UNICEF encourages, to continue these improvements to the point that every child receives all the rights.
So, as we already talked about, equality is very important in the education. So every child must have access to education because it is the most important thing. And how you think, like, as I asked before about informal education, can it be a method of creating equality for education? Because, for example, we had the same experience. We were, as I already mentioned, we're in the debate club, and we have a contact with children from many different parts of Georgia, and we have contacts with them, and we are friends with them, and we are really involved in projects together. So how you think, can informal education somehow help the process of creating equality in education?
It should. It should.
Yeah.
I mean, everything should be of quality. Yeah. Formal education should provide quality education. Informal education should provide also quality skills and quality competences, quality knowledge, and relations should be of quality. So family relations, relations at school, friendships. I mean, we should aim at having quality in everything. And this needs knowledge, skills, and willingness. So you need the knowledge about what are the quality things. Even food, I mean, to eat quality food, which has all the vitamins and minerals we need, okay? It needs some knowledge. So today you eat something with a lot of vitamin A, tomorrow a lot of vitamin D, the day after you eat something with vitamin C, right? And ideally, all the vitamins and minerals we should get them in one day. But it could be one day more than the other, it depends. But at the end of the day, this is the knowledge you need. You need to know what your body requires in terms of vitamins and minerals. And then you need the skill, the know-how, how to get these vitamins, for instance, and from where, and how to cook the food in order to keep the vitamins in the food. And then the third thing is where the outcome of this process. What is the outcome of having vitamins and minerals and the needed ones is that we have a healthier body. And also the same applies to our cognitive capabilities. So the knowledge, the skills, what is the outcome? We can live a better life, have more quality relationships, and being happier in life.
Thank you so much. So we also had a question, how frequently and how often UNICEF supports such kind of activities and projects? For example, our group, the Debates for the Education. And what do you think, should UNICEF continue systematically supporting such type of projects?
You mean projects of interaction with young people?
For example, like our group, it's called the Debates for the Education, like,
yes.
Like the great projects.
Similar projects, you mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
No, you're doing this every day. We work for children and young people. If we don't do that, it means we are missing the point. So, yeah. And even, myself personally, as UNICEF representative, if I can every day have a session with children and young people, it would be great. Of course, sometimes work responsibilities and official meetings, etc., and going through the emails, preparing documents may not allow me to do that. But I would be very happy, and my colleagues the same thing, if every day we can interact. And it's one of the core mandates and responsibilities of UNICEF to develop relationships with youth networks and spread healthy lifestyles and healthy information and all the positive things in the society.
So I have a question about COVID-19. So as you already mentioned, there might be a big change in educational system and we get used to working from home. And how you think, what should be the specific aspects in educational system that should improve in order to have better access to education and to have better outcomes? Because right now it is very new thing for us and many people are not used to using technologies. So what are the specific aspects we have to improve in terms of this?
First, in September, we may go back to school as before. We may not be able to go back and continue the online, and we may go half-half, which means half of the students go today, the other half goes tomorrow, okay? Because if there will be a need to keep physical distance, then the school will not be able to have all the students every day or at a time. So whatever the format is, whatever the arrangement is, everybody or everyone at home or half of the students at the school, the most important thing is the learning continues. And the flexibility, our flexibility should be very high. So flexibility and adaptability. We have to adapt to changes and we have to be flexible. So this is what will keep us learning, and the same learning outcomes and learning achievements will be delivered, will be achieved. So there's no problem in that.
Thank you so much. And what do you think about the teachers in education? For example, we know that in some universities, there's like a special degree for the education, and there are also like schools of education. So what do you think? Can you please tell us what they teach there and how teachers are trained for the education?
Yeah, there should be teachers' colleges, of course. Not anyone who has a degree can become a teacher. That's for sure. So this is something that UNICEF also supports globally to make sure that teachers do understand the pedagogics of education. So it's not only teaching, it's pedagogics behind the teaching process. And also they should be fully aware and they should be fully convinced and they should live the child rights principles. So this is extremely important. And for instance, all the interactive methods in education, all these interactive methods are built on the right of the child to participation. Because otherwise, why do we need interaction? And the idea of the teacher who used to be the source of information is finished. We all have the information. And Batoni or Carbatoni Google can give us most of the information. Any student can get it from Google. But it's about the pedagogical approach that the teacher brings within a child rights friendly dimension.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khalil, for this informative live session. I'm sure that people who are watching us are very interested and very thankful as well. I want to briefly thank you for the project Debates for Education from the behalf of all of our debaters and teachers who are participating in this project, who are actively involved in all the activities we are making. And I think that this session will be very important and is very important for the debaters, and they will even have some materials to use for their later debate place. And I just want to, I also want to emphasize that the questions that our two hosts today had, they were collected from the children all over Georgia who are interested in this topic. And I'm really glad that so many people around Georgia are involved in this project. And thanks for everything. It is all thanks to you and your organization.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank you, to thank all the young people who sent you the questions as well. And I know that it's live streamed, and that's why I would like to thank all those who have participated. And I would like to tell you that UNICEF is always ready to support. I mean, this is our mission, and this is our commitment, and this is where we have to show every day our dedication. So I wish you all the best. You are not only the future, but also you make the future, and you are also the present with other members of the society. So I would like to end by saying, remember always your rights, know your rights, demand your rights, and defend your rights. Always in nonviolent means, nonviolent ways, and stay happy all the time, and always eager to learn.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.